To the first story. My taxes pay your salary. No, they do not. This happened 3 years ago, but my friend reminded me of it yesterday, so I thought I would share. It was the middle of June, and my first weekend off in a quite long time. I'd been giving my friend a never-ending rain check, promising to teach her to fish. Our schedules finally line up. Weather is perfect. It's fishing time. We arrive at a local lake. It's the type where you don't need a fishing license, just a pass for the lake. Money goes to the city. We buy our passes from the concession stand and head back to my car to get the gear. I brought 3 setups, one for me, one for friend, one just in case. It's a really busy Saturday morning. Lots of people. We do a mini hike across the lake to get our spot and to get fishing. Friend learns quickly. We catch a few before the sun's all the way up. We're pumped how well the day is going and decide to take a lunch break when it starts to get hot. At about 11, we take the stuff back to my car, we chill, eat, hydrate, and head back. While we are walking back, a group of kids break away from their families to follow us around. They were all boys, 4 of them. 3 of them were probably around like 8 to 11 years old, and the 4th is maybe 6. I'm thinking they just want to watch us fish, and they likely told their parents where they were going, so I don't even think about it. We get back to our spot, but the kids are trying to follow us down the hill. The top of the hill has a trail. If you're careful, you can climb down to reach a small landing that is close to the water's edge. It was stressing me out. Watch these kids try and climb down. So, I yell up to them a safer place for them to watch, basically next to us, easier to get to, but there's a gap in between the landings. Once they got down, they decided to have a rock skipping contest. Not exactly polite to do that next to people fishing, but I let it go. Then, these kids decide to have a jumping contest. They are jumping from their landing to our landing back and forth. There's only a 2-foot gap, but if they fell, they would definitely get hurt. Friend is getting more stressed than me watching them, makes them promise her to be careful. They said what I probably would have said when I was their age. Fine! Whatever, guys! The ringleader of the group, the oldest, maybe 11, then asked me if they're allowed to fish. I asked them if they have a pass. Oh, stupid me. They say yes. I tell them if you got a pass, you're good to go. The ringleader puts his hand on my fishing pole that I'm still holding and asks if he can use it. I pull away, say, no, bud, I'm using it. He picks up just in case pole without asking and says, what about this one? No, that is mine, and I don't want you hurting yourself with it. Little Brad gives me an attitude and shouts, well, what can I use? I didn't even know what to say at first, but I pulled out Old Faithful. Well, go ask your parents. It worked. They immediately left. About 20 minutes later, we hear a large group of people coming down the trail. It's the kids and their family, and the kids are whispering and pointing at me, mostly just ringleader. A female a bit older than me, guessing mom, angrily makes her way over to the spot and lays into me. I don't remember everything about the general consensus is that I'm ungrateful and I need to get shot. Her words. Kids are still close, so I decided to keep it PG. I also have a little issue with my hearing. If something is too loud, I cannot usually make out the sound. Like, if you're telling me, I'm not gonna get every word. I explain I cannot hear her. When she raises her voice, she starts yelling louder. I'm getting nothing. Friend is mortified. I stare at her until there's a break and say, yeah, I didn't get a word of that. She almost starts to go off again when the husband/boyfriend/older brother shouts something at her in another language and she stops. Angry lady. Did you tell these boys they couldn't fish? Me, no, I just said the opposite. She is stunned. Angry lady. Why cannot they fish then? They are allowed to fish at this lake. Me, well, that they can fish, they're absolutely allowed to fish here. They just cannot use my stuff. Angry lady.
Why not? Everyone else here is fishing. This lake is owned by the city.
Me, yup, sure is. Blank stares for way too long. Angry lady.
You need to teach them to fish.
Me, miss, I cannot watch all of them. What if they hurt themselves?
Angry lady. Oh, yes, you are. My taxes pay your salary.
Me, no, they do not. Angry lady.
Yes, they do. I pay taxes, and taxes pay for this lake. And they better not hurt themselves, because if they do...
Me, you think I work here? More blank stares. Me. Miss, I work at place I used to work doing thing I did while I was there. Even more blank stares. Me. I fix computers. I didn't, but it's easier to say that than explain what I really did. Silence. This poor lady looks so embarrassed and it clicks that I'm just a person fishing on their day off. But I don't even get an apology. No recognition that she was wrong. She just climbs back over to the rest of the family as they quietly speak amongst themselves, walking away in their shame. When they're finally out of sight, Fran and I give each other the "what the duck just happened" look and break into the most beautiful 45 minutes session of uncontrollable laughter I've ever had. TLDR, went fishing, 4 kids wanted to help themselves to my fishing gear, told them to kick rocks, they sis their mom on me. Mom was under the impression that 2 regular people fishing were park rangers, and we needed to teach these kids to fish. I was wearing blue jeans, tank top, zip-up hoodie with a skull on the front, snapback with the NVIDIA logo on it. Friend was wearing jeans and a white long-sleeve shirt with a Dodgers hat. Park rangers wear ugly green pants and khaki shirts with the name of the docking lake on them. Well, this is just sad because how do you mistake a regular person for a park ranger? The second story. Woman berates me at 3 a.m. for not doing my job. So I was working at a supermarket doing night fill stocking shelves after hours. One night we ran super late as we were short-staffed. I didn't finish till about 2:30 a.m. After I left, the only place open for food was a 24/7 fuel station across the road that had a Subway. So I said hi to the staff, I was a regular, and got my sub and put in my headphones while I ate. I was just kinda zoning out as I had just finished a 9-hour shift, so I was a little slow. A woman came in and went up to the fuel counter. The server was not there. 3 a.m. they have a bunch of other jobs to do out the back, and they have a buzzer on the counter. So she's obviously seen me and moves closer. I'm obviously listening to my audiobook. I look up and she's towering me, glaring. She says something. I take my headphones out. Me, sorry? Her.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
Me, okay? Now, she's glaring full force. Her.
I need you to do your job. I don't care if you're on your break.
Me, what? Still foggy.
Her. I need you to get off your butt and do your job.
She screams. Finally, I get what's going on. I lean back and point to my shirt logo. Me, I don't work here. I'm from the supermarket across the road.
Her. Don't give me that BS. I'm in a hurry. Now do your job.
By now, the server has come back to check on the noise. Server. Hey, my name, everything okay? Me, well, ask her. She does an actual double take. She goes a bit red, but rallies herself and glares at me again. She pays for her stuff, then, in a loud as hell stage whisper says,
"What is doing here at this time of night? Suspicious if you ask me."
Then she leaves. The server shakes his head and we laugh it off. But the best part is a few weeks later, same scenario at the same petrol place. I'm eating but more alert. But she comes in, sees me eating, and goes red. Me, hey server, that crazy woman is back. I then nod at her. Me, can I help you with anything, ma'am? I know I don't work here, but I know how upset you get with the truth, so maybe I can pretend? Do some role play? If that would help. The server comes out, she buys some gums and leaves, never saying a word, her face bright red. Like, do your job even if they're on a break? Some entitled people, man. The third story. Please get out of my car. Smiley face. I've been reading a few stories on here about people getting into cars that aren't their Uber, and it reminded me of my own. This happened a little while ago. I was outside a bar waiting for my boyfriend to pick me up, driving my car, and I see this girl stumbling out of the bar, heading towards the road. At the same time, I see my car pulled up and head towards it, but quickly stop as this girl opens the passenger door of my car and gets in. Now, my poor boyfriend is so confused and is just staring at me through the windscreen like being, what the duck do I do? And he tells her that this is not an Uber and that he's picking up his girlfriend. This chick is adamant, however, saying this is definitely her Uber because, you know, she ordered one and this had to be it. By this point, I'm standing at the passenger side door telling her that she is in the wrong car, but she is now refusing to get out and telling my boyfriend to take her home. People are starting to come out of the bar and are watching this scene unfold. I'm at my wit's end because she's making a scene and telling me to go get your own Uber. And my boyfriend is yelling at her to get out. Finally, her actual Uber rocks up and she gets the notification and awkwardly stumbles out of my car. No apology or anything, and they drive away. To this day, I still find this so bizarre and hilarious. Well, I would say just get in the back, let your boyfriend drive, and drop her off when she figures it out. The fourth story. I don't work for your competitor, I'm just planning my wedding. Many years ago, back when cell phone cameras were still a new concept, I was getting married. Without a lot of money for a wedding, I was planning the ceremony itself and drove to all the craft stores in my area to find affordable inspiration. I had a system for keeping the ideas organized so I could come back to the right stores and find the items later. This involved taking a picture of the item right above the price tag and then jotting down in a notebook what I could use it for. I would also write the code for the photo above the note so I wouldn't get mixed up. After discovering how pricey craft stores are, I decided to try my luck at Walmart. They have some craft supplies, right? So there I was, minding my own business, snapping a picture and writing in my notebook when an employee walked up to me and said,
Ma'am, are you doing price comparisons right now?
I nodded and said yes, and started to explain my system, thinking this was just a friendly person I was going to have a chat with. The employee held up her hand.
I don't need to know all that. You cannot take pictures of the prices. You can write them down, but if you keep taking pictures, I will kick you out of the store.
My mouth dropped. That escalated quickly. There had to be a mistake. I asked, but how will I remember what the item looked like? She shook her head.
Not my problem if you have a bad memory. Put the camera away.
And she turned on her heel to march off. So I had a dilemma. I couldn't plan a wedding with no pictures, but I couldn't take pictures of the prices. Okay, I would just take a picture of the item without the price and include the price in my notes. I wrote everything down at first, just in case she threw me out before I got all the info, and then snapped a picture. Sure enough, she rounded the corner of the shelf where she had been hiding and said,
I said no pictures!
I stood still and replied, I didn't take a picture of the price, ma'am. You can see it if you want.
I don't care, you're leaving now.
Just then, another employee walked up. I don't know who she was, but the other employee immediately went meek. Nice employee. What's the trouble here? Angry employee.
She's using a camera phone to do price comparisons.
I spoke up and said, I stopped taking pictures of the prize like she asked, but I'm planning my own wedding to save money, and I need pictures to know which things will go well together. Nice employee. So you don't work for another store? These are for your own personal use? I nodded and said, well, yes, I cannot afford a big wedding, so I'm doing everything myself. I just need ideas and places to get things for cheap. I briefly showed her my notebook and a couple of the pictures I had taken. The nice employee nodded like she was impressed and said, that is a great idea. I should have done that too. Weddings are too expensive. She then turned to the other lady and said, she is fine. Come on, I could use you over here. I said thank you, and the nice employee said, not at all, congratulations, and led the other woman away sulking and silent. I was able to put together the entire wedding for under $1,000. Wow! Under $1,000 for a wedding? You need to teach me your ways! The fifth story. I'm a grown woman, and I don't go to this school, lady. So, I'm a youth worker, and I care for young people aged between 13 and 18 years old who are in and out of home care for various reasons, but most of the time, they have been removed from abusive parents. I have a specific client I work with a lot who is verbally aggressive and has a lot of anxiety around school. This particular day was her third or fourth day at a new school, and she asked me if I could walk her to her classroom because she was feeling anxious. This is something I do a lot for our clients to also make sure they're actually going to class. It has never been an issue. I had even been to this particular school many times with another client. So I'm walking her to the class, and she's walking really fast ahead of me with her head down when the teacher stops me. Now, I'm a 30-year-old woman, and I was wearing jeans, a black shirt with Biggie Smalls' face on it, and a pair of Vans, so I can understand that my outfit skews younger. But if I find I dress cool, I have better success building relationships with the clients as they see me as more of an older sister rather than dressing in my normal clothes and coming across maternal. So the teacher says in an incredibly loud, condescending voice, "Why aren't you in uniform?" I tried to quietly say, I don't go to the school, so that the other students don't hear me because obviously my client doesn't want it broadcast that she is in care and had a carer walking her to class. But the teacher isn't having any of it. She didn't listen to what I was saying at all. She starts lecturing me in the most horrible voice, literally wagging her finger and saying, "This school has standards and you're making us look sloppy. I'm giving you an out of uniform slip and you'll be getting detention too." I'm really annoyed by this point, but also in shock because I'm 30. How the hell can she be mistaking me for a school kid? I have a forehead wrinkle and the beginnings of crow's feet. How is this possible? I very firmly say, there's no need to speak to me that way. I don't go to this school. And of course, she doesn't let it go. She gets louder and says, "If you don't go to this school, you need to leave. We don't allow other school children on our property." My client, who has been standing there getting more and more agitated, decides to get her straight and at the top of her lungs screams, "She doesn't go here, you ducking dopey C-word. She's my carrier." The teacher turns bright red. Every student is looking at us now. The teacher mumbles something about visitors needing to sign in, and I told her I had, and we kept walking. My client was so embarrassed, but her little outburst instantly made her popular with the other students because, as she told me later, the teacher is absolutely horrible to everyone. My client was spoken to by her teacher about appropriate language at the school, but wasn't punished. So not exactly I don't work here lady, but more of a I don't go here lady. Well, that is an awesome story of your client feeling able to take change and make a contribution to the conversation. I am so impressed. On to the final story. Give me everything in a till. This was a few years back. I'm in my local shop that rhymes with Mazda, where employees wear a bright green shirt with "Happy to help" or some other sort of customer care bollocks written on the back. I'm wearing a dark green shirt, but fairly different from the staff. I'm scanning some items for dinner on a self-service machine when I hear the words, "Give me everything in the till." I look up to see a burly but short mother ducker with a pair of sunglasses on with an axe or hatchet in his hand. Now, this is the second time in my life I've been faced with a weapon. Whereas most people have a fight or flight instinct, I've discovered that I turn into a condescending T-word. Sorry mate, do you think I actually work here? I'm just picking some stuff up for Curie. And these are self-service tills. I don't actually think there's any money in them. You might want to try actually going to the customer counter. Surprised at myself for not being bludgeoned to death, this prick shuffles off towards the staff. What felt like at least 10 seconds later, the police have stormed through and tased the C-word. Apparently, he had robbed the 3 shops next door along the way, but instead of bailing with his winnings, he was just robbing every shops along the street. Oh wow, definitely a new one for this sub. Glad you made it out okay. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.